In this episode of Warikoo, I tell you what all you should do in the first 90 days of your new job. Let's say you've got a new job and you're really happy about it, you are all excited, it's like this new place, it's a new package, it's a new company, it's a new role, you're all geared up. And the first 3 months, I tell you, are the most critical for any new job. Because here's my belief. Whether you are going to stick around in that company for long and whether the company is going to look at you as a long-term employee or not, almost always gets determined in the first 90 days itself. It's the first 3 months of you spending time in a new setup, in a new company with new people, in a new role, in a new, completely new function, that you get to know whether you are in it for long, and the company also gets to know whether they see you as someone who's a long-term employee. So here are the things that you could consider doing in the first 90 days of your new job. Number 1, if you're smart, and I bet you are, here's what you suffer from. It's called the curse of intelligence. And here's how it works. When intelligent people are given a problem to solve, their first reaction is to solve it. Their first reaction is to solve the problems that come their way. So when you are this over-enthusiastic, excited new kid starting a new job, you just see problems come along. You see something that's not working right in somewhere, something that's broken in some place, something that's not working just as well as you imagine, and your natural inclination is then to go and fix it. Because you think if you fix it, someone's going to come to you and be like, that is awesome. Within the first 3 months itself, you fixed a really big problem. You must be really smart. You're like the best performer in the team. We love you. This is exactly who we wanted. Oh my God, we don't believe this is true. Okay, enough. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And here's why. You have to recognize with all humility that the company has been in an existence for longer than you have known about it. And that means they have most likely already seen the problem, recognized the problem, and there is a fundamental reason why they still haven't solved it. There's a fundamental reason why it still exists in the shape and form that it does. So when you see a problem in the first 3 months of your job, don't make the mistake of fixing it. Instead, go deep in it. Try and find out, what does the company know about that problem? Try and find out the history of the company and that problem. Try and go back to what things were when you were not there. Try and literally like a detective, walk back, take the steps that you need to take to find out what is it that has happened before you came. Because that knowledge will then tell you what you don't know right now. In the enthusiasm, the excitement of fixing things, what you will do is completely ignore history. And when we ignore history, we end up rewriting it. When we ignore history, we end up rewriting history. And you don't want to do that, because that doesn't help. It doesn't serve any purpose for the company, and that is the worst way that you can spend the first 3 months. So my first and most insightful suggestion is that in the first 90 days of your new job, go deep into the history of why things do and work the way they do. Why do people behave the way they do? Why do things happen the way they do? What is it that you do not know about the company as yet that you should about its past? Because that will then tell you, how did it end up in its present? That is what will tell you what you perhaps need to fix. Number 2, meet people. Not just from your department, from anywhere else. Have lunch with a new person every day. Go and introduce yourself to someone new. Go and spend time with people that have nothing to do with your work. Number 3, and this is a big mistake that most people make when they're new in their job. Your goal is not to impress people in the first 90 days of your work. Your goal is not to impress people in the first 90 days of your work. Your goal instead is to constantly listen so that you're sharpening your axe. You're sharpening your axe. Because I go back to a story, and the story is someone recruits a tree cutter and says, I want you to cut trees. And the tree cutter is like, great, that sounds like a job I can do. Give me the axe. And they get the axe and they start cutting trees. Talk. And the first day they cut 20 trees. Well, the boss is like, wow, that's awesome, man. That's really good. That's better than most people I've known. I'm like, yeah, that is it. The next day, they don't cut 20, they cut 19. And then the next day they cut 18. And the next day that guy cuts 15. And he's like, shit, I must be losing my power. I must be not good at this anymore. Like there must be something wrong with what I'm doing. It doesn't seem to be working. And someday he just cuts 10. And the boss is like, hey, what just happened? You cut 20 trees on your first day. Now you're cutting like 10, which is way lesser than what people cut. What's the problem? It's like, I don't know what the problem is. It says, the boss is like, where are you spending your time? It's like cutting trees. And the boss is then like, why? Why aren't you sharpening your axe? And the employee is like, oh, because I was just busy cutting trees. And that's the mistake most people make. They're just busy cutting trees. In the first 90 days, in the first 3 months of your job, you should not be busy cutting trees. You should be busy sharpening your axe. You're the one who knows I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not in this for 3-6 months. I'm not going to just hop over to another job. I want to spend meaningful time here, which means every bit of time that you spend in the early days trying to research, trying to skill, trying to listen, trying to observe, trying to form your opinions, your judgments, your hypotheses, is what is going to help you in the longer run. And that doesn't mean that you don't work the first 90 days, but my point is slightly subtle. My point is don't force yourself or put any pressure on yourself to contribute in a big way. All you have to do is just do your job, but after that, listen, observe, take notes, figure out what is it that you need to know so that you are sharpening your arsenal, that you're sharpening your axe, that you're just getting ready when the real work comes your way. You will have all the arms and the ammunition to do a fantastic job at that. And that is when your contribution will go noticed because you would have prepared yourself for that. Number 4, seek feedback as much as you can. Feedback on the early ways of doing things, feedback on whether you're mapping the values of the company right, whether you're thinking in the right way, whether you're getting things right in the right way, whether you're using the right words, the right terminologies, the right phrases that work in that company. Seek feedback. I'll tell you, most people will not give you feedback in your first 90 days. They'll be like, oh, no, you're doing really well, and oh yeah, everything's fine, it's too early, don't worry about it. Unless you do something dramatically wrong, most people will be nice, all warm and fuzzy, and that doesn't help. It doesn't help because you don't really know where you are. So you have to ask very specific questions. It's not the right question to ask if you're like, how's it that I'm doing? Because you're not going to get the right answer. You're not going to get any right answer. Instead, ask yourself, the presentation that I made 2 days back, what did you think about my delivery? There is no way someone will not be able to answer that question, and that will not be helpful for you because you asked something which was specific. You asked something that you genuinely wanted to get feedback on. You asked something that you cared about. And when you go deep, when you go specific, that is when you get truly valuable feedback. The 5th and the last thing, in the first 90 days of your job, in the first 3 months of your new job, do not share your opinions. Keep them to yourself. Keep them to yourself because your intent is not to change things. You're not going to change things. You're not going to move anything dramatic in the first 90 days of your new job. It's not going to happen. So don't share your opinions in a way that's meant to change. Don't share your opinions in a way that's meant to provoke. Don't share your opinions in a way that's meant to challenge, in a way that's meant to show them the mirror. Keep your opinions to yourself, and not for the wrong intent. Keep your opinions to yourself so that you, over time, get to realize whether your opinions truly still hold ground, or is it something that you should change in the middle? Something that ought to change because you just saw something else happening. You thought this is the way that it works, but oh no, you spent more and more days and you figured, no, that's not how it works. I was wrong. I shouldn't have shared my opinion in the first go. Keep your opinions to yourself in the first 90 days. At the end of it, your first 3 months, your first 90 days in a new job can be fantastic if you don't put any pressure on yourself to perform and contribute magnificently. Genuinely seek feedback, spend time with people who are nothing like you, dig out the history of the company and throw yourself into understanding why things are the way they are. And during that, be open to change your mind. And if you do that, I guarantee you, you will love that job a lot more. The company will love you a lot more. And irrespective of how hard you work and the challenges and the tasks and the targets that you're already given in the first 90 days, you will feel fulfilled. You will feel that you've moved ahead. Those 90 days will be what most people don't even experience in the first 1 year of their role. And if you get to experience that, you're all set. Until next week, I'll see you all on Warikoo. God bless. Stay safe. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that whenever we put up a new video, you're aware of it.